got to travel all over the world and been to some phenomenal countries, and it's certainly the first 2 or 3 months playing on tour was surreal, because I was standing, practicing and playing with guys that I'd grown up idolising my whole career. So my name's Callum Macaulay. I'm the Senior Sports Consultant at First Point USA.
So what's your story, Callum?
Well, when I was 15, 16 years old, my sort of main goal in life was to become a professional golfer. I felt like the United States was going to give me the best opportunity to do that, predominantly for the weather, for the facilities, for the standard of competition. Wasn't really focused on or interested in going to university at all. My mum and dad were much more concerned about me having some form of backup plan and getting a degree, and so as we sort of spoke about it a little bit more in depth, figured out that the US was going to be able to provide me with both.
And how was that for your mum and dad?
I think initially it was a big leap of faith for them. Sending your 18-year-old son to live on the other side of the world is a massive decision for any family, and but I think that the bigger picture for them, knowing what I was going to be able to achieve, I don't think deep down they really believed I was going to become a professional golfer. I was always adamant that I was. I think they were more concerned about me having an education instead. But the more that they came round to it, I think it was the realisation was there that the vast opportunity had to be taken.
So the decision was made to go to the States. What was the steps then? Where did you go?
Well, initially I had absolutely no idea how to go about doing it, and back then we did stumble across First Point USA. They were really the only company that we knew done anything like this. Andrew Keane, our current CEO, came to my house, told me all about this huge, incredible opportunity in the US, the size and the scale of college sport. To be honest, I didn't believe a word he said. I just couldn't believe for a minute that college sport was what he was making it out to be, and gradually went through the process and sort of got my head around the fact that I was going to be going to live in the United States. And we eventually got to the point where I committed to the University of Mississippi, starting August 2002, and graduated in 2007 with an English degree, and had elevated my golf to a point where I was one of the best amateur golfers in the world, which, to be perfectly honest, probably exceeded my expectations. I know for a fact it exceeded my mum and dad's.
Steps then. So you studied for 4 years, time of your life?
Yeah, listen, I think anyone that's been to the States will tell you the same. It's an absolutely incredible experience for a lot of different reasons. But being living in the US for a start is it's life changing. Getting to meet fantastic people, obviously getting to play against the best golfers in the world for that age group. And just the lifestyle at US university is completely different and much more professional, particularly with sport. It's much more professional than it is in the UK.
Talk about how the US helped you make that transition from amateur to professional golf.
Well, I think initially just the fact that you're playing against better players. I think the mentality of the general population in America is much more positive. The glass is always half full out there. You're almost dragged into thinking their way, and that was something I was quite naive about before I went to the US. I was perhaps quite introverted, quite negative, and very quickly I realised I had to change my mindset. So that initially helped me. I took a little bit of time to get used to the different playing conditions. Obviously the element of being away from home, away from family, I think that's the first thing that will hit any student athlete when they get there, is just the fact they're away from everything that they know. But as I settled in and as I progressed through my collegiate career, I did realise I was becoming a lot better. I worked, the great opportunities to work 4, 5, 6 hours every day on your game, travel the US, play different golf courses, experience different weather conditions. And I did realise towards the end of my final year that something serious was starting to happen, and I got my world ranking up to sort of top 10, top 15 in the world after I graduated from university.
Like a lot of folk sort of watching won't understand firsthand, I guess, to watch on the telly, see all this. You've played the Tiger Woods, you've played the what's it been like then? What was the European tour like back in the day when you used to play?
Yeah, well, the European tour for me was a pipe dream, and it probably, anyone that knows me and anyone that's seen me play golf probably would say that I've massively overachieved and been able to reach my goal of getting to play on the European tour, and I would agree. I don't know how far my expectations were or how high they were before I turned professional. I didn't really know how high I was going to get to, but when I finally got the opportunity to play against the best professional golfers in the world, I tried to take it as... I didn't take it for granted, certainly. I got to travel all over the world and been to some phenomenal countries, and it's certainly the first 2 or 3 months playing on tour was surreal, because I was standing, practicing and playing with guys that I'd grown up idolising my whole career. So I've absolutely no doubt that it's a unique opportunity that not a lot of people get the chance to experience, and it was something that I'll never forget.
And do you think your successes would have happened without your time in the US?
Absolutely, no doubt. The US was the biggest contributing factor to that. And to be honest, I did think that before I went. That was my main sort of reason for wanting to go to the US, because I just knew how pivotal it would be in my career. I think the opportunities in the UK, they don't even come close. Certainly for golf, it's more based on the weather, the facilities, the weather, getting to play year round in the US. And as I mentioned earlier, just getting to play against the best and competing against the most mentally strong athletes out there is what really elevates you to get to that level as well.
In terms of golf, you've got a bit of a golfing family then, eh?
Yeah, wife plays. She's a professional golfer. My dad played. My whole family played. My wife's whole family played. My kids now play. It's something that's been embedded in our family for 40, 50 years, and there was never going to get anything getting out of it for me. I was always going to be a golfer to some extent. I just didn't really know how high I was going to get to go.
You told me your dad was your caddy at one point as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, my dad's been the biggest influence in my life, for sure. He's taught me since I was 3 years old. He obviously was a big driving factor in me being able to go to the US. As emotionally challenging as I think it was for him initially, he and my mum were the ones that financed it for the most part, supported me emotionally, gave me everything I needed. And then when I did graduate from university, we had a unique opportunity for him to come and travel with me and caddy for me. And through my sort of last couple of amateur years of golf before I turned professional, I was doing well. I was winning a lot of tournaments. I was competing for Scotland, for GB&I, for Europe, and everything was working. So when I did get the chance to turn professional, he came with me. He caddied for me. We got to travel the world. We got to stay in the same hotels, and ultimately he was living his dream through me. I think he wanted to be a professional golfer. He was never going to be able to get to that level, but just getting the chance for him to travel with me, it's something that we can share. And to be honest, to this day, we still do share stories of when we travelled the world.
Is it a future caddy for you then?
I don't know if I could be a caddy. I'm a very encouraging parent, I would say. My 2 kids, they love their golf. They both love their football. I try to be as supportive as I can, and not so much a pushy way. My wife's the same. We'll encourage them to do anything, and as long as they enjoy it, I think that's the biggest thing for us. Whether I could become a caddy, I don't know. I do it just now, push their little trolleys around golf courses and help them out, and it's more just trying to teach them at the moment. But I would say from my own experience playing at the highest level, I think, with all due respect to my dad, I think having a professional caddy would probably be more beneficial, and I think you see that now. Some caddies are getting paid 7 figures a year to look for the best players in the world. So no, I don't think I could be a caddy at a top level.
And just to, I guess, summarise then, full circle now, with everything you've been through, experiencing uni life, professional life, and now you're helping kids to go through that yourself. So I guess that puts you in good stead for helping those kids that need that experience. Yeah,
well, I like to think that I'm very lucky. I get to talk about my time in the States on a daily basis, with a lot of ambitious families and a lot of kids who are intrigued to go through the same thing as me. I like to think the experience that I have, I can share with them. I do relay to them every single individual I speak to. I do stress to them that I'm not here to make that decision for them just because I've done it. I think they have to want to do it themselves. The family have to want them to do it. It has to be something that works for everyone. But I think it's invaluable for them. I'd like to think it's invaluable for them that they can listen to someone who's actually done it, experience the highs and the lows, the challenges, the successes and the great things about college sport as well. And you know, I do appreciate that families are sometimes a little bit in the dark when they come to starting this process. So if I can give them some information to help them understand it better, then it's a winner for both of us.
Obviously, as a father of two with two young boys playing golf, is this something you're going to encourage them to do in the future?
I don't think I'll discourage them from it, but I would absolutely love them to pursue it as well. I think, like I just said before, I think they have to want to do it, and if it's something that they're keen to do, obviously I'll be in a good position to understand how good the opportunities are for them. But if they're as passionate about their sport as I was and they're academic enough, it's something I would love for them to do, just because I know how great the opportunities are for them.